Okay, and hello everyone. I think that we are officially live, so please let us know in the chat if you can see us. If I see nothing in the chat, I will assume that something has gone horribly wrong, basically. So I'm like tentatively looking at like the actual live video. Yes, hello. We are actually live. Cool. So this is the first book battle. We just pew pew pew. There's I'm Rowan, which the person who used to be in charge of Penguin platform, although my last day was technically on Friday. So I am still working a little bit for Penguin, but someone else will be taking over full time very, very soon. And I have with me Joel and Tazmyn, who are two amazing like booktubers, people who have come and done videos on the channel before, and we decided that we were going to do a book battle, like a live stream thing together, because we realized that we haven't done anything together. We've been making these like separate videos, so yeah, we decided to do a battle because what's more fun than arguing on the internet, but we wanted it to be like a fun battle. So it's Pride Month, and because we're all very gay, we decided that we were going to do a battle of like the best LGBT trope. So I'm going to go first. We've all made presentations. We have chosen our favorite tropes, and I'm going first. We're each going to do presentations, and then we will have a bit afterwards where we can question each other, really get into the nitty gritty of each other's arguments, see if we can take each other down. In the chat, if you have any comments, any questions, any thoughts, let us know, because at the end, we're hoping that you guys will be able to vote for the one that you think is the best. I can already see in the chat that Hitchhiker Hobbit, aka Pippin from the Discord, is there, as always, amazing. Lexi is there. Hello everyone. Let us know as well in the chat where you're watching from. I want to know if like whereabouts people are, because that's always fun. I want to see who the most far away person is who's in the chat. So we did practice this right before we came online to make sure that we had everything set to go, so this better work. We're gonna do like oh god, we're screen sharing, like, is everything gonna work okay? I really hope this comes up properly in the YouTube channel. So right, share. Ooh. Can you see the presentation, everyone? Is it working? Excellent. That's all I needed. So this is the first slide, which is basically just to justify tropes are good. Actually, this is not really a slide specific to my presentation. This is for all of our presentations. This is just justifying us being correct. So what is love story without romance? What is an action movie without explosions? Sometimes tropes are just things that have worked, and so people use them again because they're good. So that is our justification for this. So here we go. My favorite trope is reinventing stereotypes. Please get used to the Comic Sans. It is on every single slide. I have no regrets.
This PowerPoint's already kissed.
I am not here to waste your time with lukewarm takes, audience. I am here for a hot take and a hot take only. I want queer stories to have more stereotypes. That's right, you heard me. We're going to reinvent them though. We're going to take the cliche ideas, we're going to make them fresh, make them new. So get your pens and pencils, paper out, everyone, because you're going to be swimming in new book recommendation. I can't speak to the other two. I come to you today with no less than 5 stereotypes in need of reinventing. In fact, 6. I have like a sneaky 6th one that I think snuck in there. So without further ado, here we go.
Sorry, I think Joel and I are giggling because you cut out a little bit there. He's back now, but Joel and I both had a moment of recognition, like, do we?
What happens if Rowan's gone? That was basically what happened.
Yeah, just like,
carry this without me. You have to somehow pick this. Okay, so you guys get the point. Basically, it's going to be incredible. Maybe I'm hyping this presentation up too much. We'll see. So stereotype number 1 that we're reinventing: coming out stories are the only LGBTQ plus YA stories there are. False, clearly false. I've given you here on this slide 2 beautiful examples right here, right now. So the first one, Jack of Hearts and Other Parts, is amazing. It's based on the author's own life, and it's about his experience as a gay boy in school in New York. It's like a liberal school. So the coming out wasn't necessarily the issue. but he still had issues afterwards. He still had drama. He still had stuff to deal with. So this tells the story of a boy who basically starts his own like sex and relationships advice blog. And all of the questions that get asked to the character of Jack through the whole book are actual questions asked by queer teens in real life to the author. So it's all like very authentic. It's all stuff that teens are interested in. It's chef's kiss. And it's very refreshing kind of take on a YA story. Number 2, The 100 Nights of Hero. It's a graphic novel. We love another kind of little genre.
Oh, it's Phil Greenberg.
It's beautiful. It's so big though. It is the biggest book. It's like, you've committed if you've bought this book. It's incredible though. It's about mythology and folklore. It's absolutely stunning. It's about these 2 women in love, and kind of like Arabian Nights style, one of them has to like tell these tales in order to like be with the woman that she loves. And it's like a story about stories and about the like a kind of secret legacy of like female storytellers in this kind of fantasy medieval world. It's beautiful. Chef's kiss. The illustrations are incredible. But that's only the first stereotype that we are inventing. Number 2, also please appreciate the background of this slide. What color? Red. Oh, what's next? A little bit of orange. Could that be on purpose?
Oh my goodness.
No. LGBT stories are full of tragedy and sadness. No? Well, in that case, let's talk about Date Me Bryson Keller. It is a queer teen rom-com. It is the story of a boy who is convinced that dating is a waste of time. It's not something he's interested in. And so he basically been dared to date the first person that asks him on a date at the beginning of every week. And he will go on a date, he will date them. And at the end, he'll break it off with them because dating doesn't matter, right? Enter our protagonist, who in a complete moment of absolute madness asks this boy on a date, even though he's not even out yet, let alone this boy who has only been dating girls this entire time. But they start a little romance. They start a little secret relationship, and it is the cutest storyline. There is no like the homophobic bully is actually secretly gay kind of nonsense. Like, this is a boy who's just really nice the whole time and really understanding about the fact that they, need to keep it low key. Very romantic, very cute, and just it has like drama, it has some angst to it, because that's kind of conflict is what good stories are made of, but it isn't just like full of awful tragedy and sadness, and it's what we like to see. Onto the yellow slide.
Adding all of these to my TBR.
Yeah, literally, this is like make the notes, gang. You can only really have one LGBT character in a story, right? Everyone knows no queer people speak to each other. It's a curse that we have been put under.
Yeah, we're not meant to be here.
Wrong. Yeah, honestly, I can't hear you. So
Cool.
These are 2 amazing books. So Juliet Takes a Breath, which is about a girl who goes on like a summer internship and basically gets completely immersed within the queer community, and she's like working for someone who is like this super feminist, and she's like discovering these amazing communities, and some of them she agrees with, she disagrees with, she has things in common with, she's totally different to, because every community, the queer community is like not a monolith. Everyone is different, and that is totally fine. And she is amazing. And the other one is Full Disclosure by Cameron Garrett. Cameron Garrett's new book, Off the Record, has actually just come out, which is also amazing. But this one is about a girl who is HIV positive and bisexual, and her friendship group is like all made up of queer people, and she has like 2 gay dads, and she's figuring out her own identity as well. And it's just like a world populated by queerness, and it is amazing. Can highly recommend.
I find it really funny that is sort of like a stereotype in the first place, because all gay people have so many gay friends.
Truthfully, yes.
There are token straight people at our party.
Never met a straight person in my life, and I do not intend to. So we all know the stereotype, gay men are all effeminate, gay women are all butch, right? Well, plot twist, at this point in my presentation, actually, these stereotypes have a basis in truth for some people, except most of the time, when you see representation of feminine men or masculine women, they are the butt of jokes. So what we're reinventing in this stereotype is like books where they are actually fully realized human beings. I twisted the plot. You see, I came at you with a surprise. This presentation, you can't predict it. It's all over the place. So I'm recommending this book, which is also by Elsie Rosen. And I particularly wanted to pick this one out because it also reinvents another stereotype, which is that queer authors don't sell. If anyone has seen Elsie Rosen or Lev Rosen's Instagram, he might be surprised, like completely surprising, because it's been a while since Camp's been out. This book might end up on one of the bestseller lists, the YA bestseller list, because it suddenly popped off from, I think Barnes and Noble did like something with it recently, and he was like convinced, like, oh, I can't, this, like, I as an author shouldn't be writing about queer stuff, like everyone tells you it doesn't sell, maybe I should stop like making such queer books for teenagers. This is proof that no, you don't have to, like teens love this stuff, we want to read about it, we want this representation. So this is this amazing book about a boy,
bye Rowan,
who is super feminine and camp and amazing and artistic and super determined. Oh, am I back? Did I go?
I think I can hear you speak. You're lagging a bit visually.
Hello?
Okay, you're good. You're good.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Basically, this book is about this amazing, like super camp, super like artistic. He's like a performer. He is like determined and amazing boy who goes to this queer summer camp every summer. And this summer he's determined to like get this boy to date him. He's like reinvented himself as this super butch guy who's like not going to do theater. He's going to do sports and outdoorsy things. And, not to spoil anything, but maybe he learns that being himself is better than pretending to be someone he's not, hypothetically. It is chef's kiss, it's beautiful, it's brilliant, highly recommend. And finally, our last stereotype, LGBT people's whole personality is just being gay or trans. The book I've picked for this one is actually a new release, The Passing Playbook, because this one I've got in the middle, right? I've picked a story where there is actually a big part of the story which is about the fact that this character is queer and trans, both queer and trans, which is we love to see multiple representations within the community in one character. But also there's other stuff he's got going on. He's like playing sports, he's wanting to compete, he's like that's a big part of his life as well. And so this is basically the story of a teenager, a teen boy who is trans, who is not out in his new school. He wants to play sports, but he basically has to choose between quietly stopping playing after new legislation is passed that means that he would have to like quit the boys team and like make excuses and not come out, or fight the like injustice of that legislation, but like everyone will know that he's trans. And at the same time, he's like maybe got a crush on a guy, and he would also be trying to have to like come out to him and have all this drama at the same time. So it's chef's kiss. You got the best of both worlds with this one. So in conclusion, for my purple slide, LGBTQ plus stereotypes, they exist, and queer stories are the most fun when they have them, when they are playing with them, when they are railing against them or subverting them, or even embracing them. Ta-da! That was my presentation. I will stop sharing now. So yes, I will take questions after we've all had our time to present. I'm just going to quickly check the chat in case we have anything that anyone we want to say hi to. I think people have said where they're from, so we can like, while let's say Tazmyn prepares, because we didn't organize who was going next, but why not? Have a little read. We have Lexi is in the chat from US, Pennsylvania. Oh, is anyone from further away? I feel like Pennsylvania might be the furthest away. Levi's here. With Anna's here. Got loads of people here. Oh my gosh, amazing. Right, so Taz, are you ready for your presentation?
Right, this is my cat. She's perfect. So my trope is that I am petitioning for books and worlds and stories that don't have homophobia, that homophobia just isn't something that is present within these storylines. So as the title is Homophobia Sucks, and if you don't think my presentation is the best, you are basically a homophobe, so no pressure there or anything. A brief history of shit. I didn't ask if we could swear beforehand. I'm sorry about that. Not that at all. So let's start with ye olde times. All the Greeks were gay, and it was just totally chill. Slightly less ye olde times. The Christians and the Greeks started killing each other, and the Christians decided that being gay wasn't cool, as a way to try and convince all people that the Greeks were bad eggs. And then that into even lessy oldie times, unfortunately, homophobia became cool and being gay stopped being cool. And I'm sure we are all still quite bitter about that. Now times, homophobia is no longer cool in the mainstream, but unfortunately, almost all queer people still experience it at some point in their life. Therefore, why on earth would you want to read about that when you're trying to get away from the crappiness of the real world, when you just want escapism? I feel like, thank you, Joel. That's what I wanted to say. So let's start with some TV shows, I think. Can you hear that? No? Ah, ha, ha, ha! These are some lovely, famous queer people. It would be so much better if they and we had never experienced any homophobia. I want to live in a world, I want to read books in which all of us can just be ourselves, not have to deal with that. Mm-hmm. I actually, when we were talking about which tropes to choose, this was the first one that came to my mind because just subconsciously, I guess, they are some of my favorite things to read and watch. My crazy ex-girlfriend, my flatmate corrected me about that earlier, and Schitt's Creek are both some TV shows in which there are quite a diverse group of people, although maybe not ethnically looking at it now. Yep, that's fine. Sexuality wise, and I definitely recommend watching the song Getting By in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I was going to have that up here as well, but then I thought there'll probably be some copyright thing and Penguin wouldn't be very happy with me. But definitely go and watch that, because it's like a little middle-aged man who realizes that he's bisexual and that he's like performing in his office for all of his people. It's a musical show and they're all really pissed off at him, not because he's bi, but just because they want to get on with the meeting. They're like, can we, this isn't, not now. We can talk about it at the bar afterwards, not now. And then Schitt's Creek, I believe it is mentioned at one point, but it's just like, are we okay with it? Yeah, of course we are. That's the right way to go about it. So now onto the books. I have a long screenshot thingy of like books I haven't read yet at the end, so I can't necessarily talk about them. But the big ones, the big boys, I have. Queen of Eoflaria by Effie Calvin is a novella, little one, where the fantasy, where the princess has to marry the prince for an alliance from another kingdom, and unfortunately the prince dies, and so to maintain the alliance the parents agree that the princess marries the passed away prince's younger sister instead. And then we have like the mysterious, more butch character, and then the princess who like loves her dresses and stuff, and they're trying to get to know each other, but it's just purely about the individuals. It's not about the sexuality at all. Like, it's not even considered that she wouldn't go for wouldn't marry the sister. I just chef's kiss, amazing. Long Way to a Small Angry Planet is book 1 in the Wayfarer series, and it's my favorite series of all time, one of my favorite books. This one and the third one, funnily enough, are my favorites, and this has a plethora of diversity in it. It's a sci-fi, so there are lots and lots of different species already, but it's all about like analyzing humanity. And there are, so one of the main characters gets with, sounds really crude, develops a relationship with another a female from another species later on. And not only is it just totally chill, but it also looks at, it's sort of a metaphor for interracial relationships. And then there are metaphors for people that are trans, because there are these people in this galaxy called modders, where if they don't like a part of their body, they change it, but in like a cyborg way, that they become like part robot. But the way that it's written is that it's like a metaphor for people that are trans in our world. Pull of the Stars and Things a Bright Girl Can Do are both historical fictions. Pull of the Stars is adult, and it's set in Ireland about a real pandemic that took place 100 years ago, I want to say, and it was written before our pandemic was happening. And then Things a Bright Girl Can Do is a young adult one, which takes place during the suffragette movement, and it's pre-World War II, during, and slightly post as well. And in both instances, with it being historical, you do expect it to be to have judgment in it, but in neither instance is there any. There is in Things a Bright Girl Can Do, there are some young female characters that are realizing that they like women, but it's not like a bad thing. It's just something that hadn't occurred to them before. And one of them, their mum is very, she has lots of friends that are sapphic. And then that character goes to this girl that she has a crush on. She's like, are you sapphic too? I am. My mum knows this person and this person and this person. And then that person from they're not homophobic or anything at all, but just they haven't considered it before, is brought in, and it's like, oh look, we can all live like this. And I read that one in one sitting and it absolutely ruined my life. A Pull of the Stars also ruined absolutely incredible, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't be talking about it now. Down on the Sticks and Bones, book 2 in the Wayward Children series. They're companion novels, and this one is sort of like a vampire story, novellas, little dinky baby boys. I'm pretty sure there is representation in all of them, but this one in particular I wanted to highlight because it had such a beautiful female romance in it. They've gone into this sort of like portal world, portal fantasy, like imagine Narnia, Wonderland, that sort of jobby, and it's just written so gorgeously. There's a girl that's living in a windmill, and she has sort of like a mad scientist adoptive father situation, and then a girl from the village, and they walk to and from every day. And also the girl that lives with the scientist has really extreme OCD, like cleanliness OCD, and that is apparently dealt with well. Not from my experience, but from what I've heard, apparently that's good. Wilder Girls, boarding school, another pandemic. I actually read it at the beginning of the pandemic last year, and I found it to be really soothing for me, because I was like, well, we're not that bad, that's okay. So it helped me quite a lot. Set in an all-girls boarding school. I went to an all-girls boarding school, related a lot to it. One girl realizes that she has feelings for her best friend, and it's fine. It's not their sexuality that is a problem, it's the fact that they are just very, very different personalities. And like Rowan said earlier, the story isn't about their sexuality. It just happens that there are two girls that fall in love while they're having to deal with this absolutely just catastrophic disaster. 2 graphic novels. Would you say they're young adult? Yeah, Moonstruck I would say is young adult. Tea Dragon Society, could it be even for younger people? I guess, like maybe middle grade. Both fantasy. They have some do they have human characters? I think there are human characters and other mythical characters as well, and they're both so pure. It's set in these worlds where, again, you can analyze humanity through these sort of like different species and stuff. The dragons, the Tea Dragon, oh my goodness. I read it on a day when I was feeling really grumpy, and I just read it, and it was the most pure thing. And I was like, nothing's ever going to make me sad again. My depression has been cured. Everything is okay. Moonstruck, there's a bit more like teenage sort of angst. It's like dating and stuff like that. And there's a bit more of like an adventure-y boy in there. But Tea Dragon Society, I want every single person in the world to read it, particularly. And then here, wait, can you see your little faces here? If I move your faces, or can you not see your faces? Okay, that's fine then. In that case, yeah, these are the ones that I know of that are also in worlds without homophobia. I haven't read any of these yet. I think, actually, looking at them all now, I believe they're all fantasy, except Not Your Psychic might be a sci-fi, and Pet, I believe, is like magical realism contemporary. And these are all set in worlds without any homophobia. And I also believe I read something earlier today that says, oh my goodness, which one was it? One of these has representation of somebody with autism as well, I believe, and I can't remember which one, and I apologize. I will find out and I'll put it on my Instagram story later. So yeah, take a screenshot of these, and also let me know if you have read them, because I think they all sound absolutely incredible, and they also have good representation of other things as well, like different ethnicities and races and social statuses and things like that. So that is my PowerPoint. Thanks.
Fun fact, The Unbroken is the writer who wrote that is their literary agent, is also my literary agent. And
Stop!
And the another book that actually fits into this trope of like a world without homophobia is Winter's Orbit. That was also a book that my agent reps, which is very good. Can recommend if anyone's looking for another book in this particular tropey genre. It is.
Love that.
I think you actually recommended that to me and Joel when we were having a meeting once.
Yeah.
I think I did recommend it to everyone I ever come in contact with, to be honest, because I really, really loved it. There is apparently someone from Brazil. Anna from Brazil is in the chat. So I think we've like gotten even further away potentially, depending on where in Brazil they are. We have, what's everyone else said? Oh, Kai said, I just got Pull of the Stars. So people already got there. Someone else, Lexi was like, all these books are being added to my TBR. We love to see it. Anna says Cryers War Supremacy. So clearly people are like into these recommendations.
Wait, I do want to add, I guess it would be a content warning. I forgot to mention this, the Pull of the Stars. It's about a nurse during the pandemic. And there's a lot of description of medical like surgeries. And so she works in a ward for pregnant women that have the virus as well. And they're all like about to give birth, and it's graphic. So like I wanted to recommend it to my flatmate, but she wouldn't be able to read something like that. So in case there's anybody else that isn't good with blood or like descriptions of surgery and stuff, I would avoid.
Can highly recommend. There's a website called, I think it's literally called booktriggerwarnings.com, where people like crowdsource content warnings or like trigger warnings to different books. So we've been using it for the Platform Book Club. If you are here and you haven't joined the Platform Book Club, I'm pretty sure that the link is in the description of the Discord, is in the description of most videos. But it's very fun. This month we're actually, pardon?
The Discord is in the description, so.
Oh, sweet. In which case, yeah, the Discord is in the description. We're going to be announcing the next 6 months worth of books in a few days. They're very, very good. I'm very excited. And you basically get to ask the authors of the books questions in a live Q&A. So like as soon as you've read it, like you can just be like, oh, I wonder about, oh, I don't need to wonder. I can just ask the author. Great. Just before, I'm gonna have a look because there's a few other people have said where they're from just before Joel's one starts while he's getting ready. We have someone from Germany, someone from Holland, someone from west of Ireland. Oh my gosh, everyone's from everywhere. Is anyone just from like
London?
Oh, hold on.
Wales?
Yeah, right
Wales,
now.
please.
Where are you based, Joel, if you feel comfortable saying that?
I'm in Newport. It's basically like quite close to Cardiff, but then also really close to going over the bridge to go to Bristol. So
Amazing.
I'm like, quite nice. Right, let me get my presentation.
I've just realized this door next to me is open. I know it's probably really loud, so I'm going to close it really quickly.
Do it. I think everyone should be seeing a rainbow.
I'm offended by how beautiful your.
No, we saw it before, and I was like, Joel has to go last so that everyone isn't already into Joel's before we do ours.
Right. Okay. So hello everyone, and welcome to my presentation on why found families deserve rights. And as you can see, we have like a cute little chosen family heart because we choose our families in this presentation. Okay, so as we can see, Rina Sawayama and Elton John recently did a song called Chosen Family. Would highly recommend. It's amazing. But what are found families if you've never heard of them before? Like, do you find family somewhere? Well, a found family is exactly what it says on the tin. It's a group of people who may not be related by blood, but they form their family based on a shared experience or understanding of one another that shows it's not just blood that makes a family, it is love and support. And together, they come together and they just do things that a family would. We see these chosen and found families in multiple forms of media, such as television, music, like we see with Rina and Elton's collaboration, and even books. And it plays a vital role in the LGBTQ plus community, as often queer people sadly look for new families, as they may not be accepted or understood by their blood relatives. And so it's a way to seek a new form of family by those who may not, have that originally. And it's so cute, it's amazing. And we see a lot of that through books. And why are found families so great in fiction? Well, found families within fiction show that family is about choice and commitment. Stories containing found families don't necessarily rely on a romantic subplot. So for people who don't necessarily like reading romance within fiction, found families are just such a great way for them to absorb a different amount of stories. And these stories choose to instead create strong platonic connections between their characters and use that to stir the external and internal conflicts. And so as we read kind of like a found family going through a rough patch, you're kind of there crying and suffering, being like, please get back together, because, you just want them all to be there for one another, and the cute dynamics are amazing. And the found family allows for greater degrees of representation as well, as it allows anyone and everyone to be a part of a found family. It doesn't matter what walk of life you come from, if you're a really bad villain or if you're a really like just sweet cottagecore person, you can literally find a family anywhere. And like even if the villain and the cottagecore person form a family together, like that speaks to a lot of really cool dynamics right then and there.
I want that.
And so let's go through some examples of found families within fiction. And the first one I'm sure a lot of you are already aware of, and that is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. This has a really cool found family of both queer and non-queer characters, but together they pull off a heist of multitude of forms. And we see conflict, we see just angst and just like disconnect within the found family, but together they all come together in order to resolve the greater conflicts. And within this, like Rowan mentioned earlier, the queerness is not the center of the novel. It doesn't define the people as a whole. It rather much supplements them and just boosts their personalities and makes them a lot more intriguing to the reader. Percy Jackson and the Olympians is a recent one of mine, which I think the Heroes of Olympus series includes queer characters. I haven't read it yet, but I think it does. But Percy Jackson as a whole shows a lot of kids who have been abandoned by their their godly parents, or just sent there for fear of danger away from their mortal parents. And they basically have to find a whole found family together and just be together because they're the only real family that they have, because they're just with other kids in the summer camp, essentially. We have Heartstopper by Alice Oseman, which is one of like the cutest graphic novels I have ever read. I got to talk with Alice Oseman a few weeks back, and it was an amazing experience. And it's just amazing. Heartstopper is a really cute graphic novel starring Nick and Charlie, who basically slowly begin to fall for one another in the midst of their whole class community of other queer people and the relationships between them. And it's just a really comforting read, and a really like, it just warms your heart. And it does delve into like some deeper topics, but it's done in a way that it gives you a holding hand along the way. And I just love that. We have The Black Veins by Asia Monet. This is a self-published novel, but it's a really cool found family dynamic, which is about a group of teens that have to come together in order to save their parents and other family members who have been taken and kidnapped. And each of them have magical powers, and the real dynamic between them is very good. And then we also have Raybearer by Joan Wecker, which is one that was published last year, and the next novel, Redemptor, comes out this year. And it's a really cool novel surrounding, it's in a fantasy world, and it surrounds Tarisai, who basically wants to become part of the prince's, I think it's like the Ray of 12 or something, or Ray of Sabbath. There's a Ray, and like basically it's a community of kids and the prince that all come together, and they create like a bond together through what's called the Ray. And so they kind of automatically become a found family together because they basically have love and adoration for this prince. And it's great. But Tarisai, once she gets the Ray, she has a curse placed upon her that once she does get the Ray, she has to kill the prince. And so whether she will do that or not, we'll see what happens. And then on my Instagram story earlier on today, a lot of you gave some suggestions of books that I haven't read yet, or have read, but they also adapted for this. So we have The Gilded Wolves by Roshani Chokshi, The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers, Cemetery Boys by Aidan Thomas, which I can attest to is a really great found family aspect of a story, A Carter Witch by Nendi Okorafor, and Every Heart a Doorway by Shannon Maguire.
Yeah.
So Tazmyn's like, yes.
So many babes.
And like Tazmyn did before, if you want to screenshot this, feel free. For all of the great found family recommendations, I think like each one of these will provide you with such a warm experience or slightly painful experience, depending on the book that you choose. But overall, found families are comforting, they're great, also provide a little bit of a conflict so that you're well sustained throughout the story. And so, of course, this is a book battle, so I have to kind of debate why this trope is the best. So why is it the best trope? Well, the found family trope always looks different. It throws together a collection of wildly different people and explores the meaning of family in different situations, which means that there's so much potential for a found family that you can literally reuse this trope again and again and again, like Rowan did, and reinvent the wheel as many times as you want. And so there's kind of a connection between all of these things today. And it allows those who've experienced trauma with their biological families to experience the love, safety, and support of a family that they choose to have. By reading fiction about found family, they may go off and create found families of their own. Like I've certainly in my university experience created little found families and created little communities of people with love and support, I think, as well. Like as we have with Platform, this is like a little found family between me, Rowan, and Tazmyn. Like it's really cute and we're there to support each other. So it's very much a universal thing for everyone. And most of all, we root for the survival of found families because we know they're our favorite characters' most vital support network. And so we want to see it survive because where would they be without their found family? I don't think they'd be in a good place without their found family. And so we need that. And we love seeing the dynamics and the ranges between the different characters and thinking whether one member of the found family would interact with another member of the found family and just the way that they would do that. And it's amazing. But before we finish the presentation, I do want to give some of my personal favorite found families that I've seen. One of them I will have to explain, but it's the very last one. So we have Dragon Age Inquisition, which is a video game. It's very cool, very amazing. You get to pick companions that can join you along the journey. And so you're creating your kind of own found family that way. And you're basically getting to know these characters on a deeper level throughout quests and stuff. I have Star Trek Discovery, but also it applies to the whole Star Trek franchise as a whole because you're basically having a bunch of strangers on a starship going on missions and stuff. So you kind of have to come together as a family in order for the system to work. And we see this a lot through Discovery itself because it plays with kind of a surrogate family dynamic between some of the characters, and I find it to be really amazing. We have Percy Jackson because I read this really recently, I think at the beginning of the month, but it's already climbed to one of my favorite found family things of all time. And then speaking of TV shows, we have Avatar: The Last Airbender because they create a found family and there's conflict, there is growth, there is support. And I think especially in the last season, we see the growth of the found family as a whole and how it solidifies and comes together and the way they just function as a family, and it's amazing. Again, we have The Black Veins, a really good found family dynamic book, stunning writing, and also a really good urban fantasy. And the last one, which I will have to explain a little, is Animal Crossing. So Animal Crossing is a found family video game because you can choose the villages you live with sometimes because they either come to your island and then if you don't like them, you can literally just wait and then they can be like, yeah, I want to leave. And you can be like, okay, bye. But you can also go exploring to different islands and find villages that you want to come to your island. You can just go through conflicts with them. If two of the villagers are arguing, you can be like, you need to go to tell that person you're sorry and stuff. And so it's very much a really cool community of people that just come together in order to build a better island, although you're doing all of the work yourself. Also, there's a kind of idea that I have that if Animal Crossing ever turned into a heist novel, all the villagers would go against Tom Nook because he's the capitalist person of the island. So you're really the only person he's really the only person we can steal from. So heist novel with Tom Nook. That is my Animal Crossing.
This was the Animal Crossing Six of Crows crossover we didn't know we needed. Is
exactly
not where I thought this presentation was going. Nonetheless.
And now, that is exactly. One day, Nintendo are going to be like, Joel, we want you to write this, and I'm like, okay, this is what I was born to do.
Yeah. Tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Expect an email from them. They're watching right now. Yeah.
And okay, so thank you for watching. And I'll now be accepting questions and playful jabs from my lovely co-hosts.
Well, playful jab, that was offensively amazing.
Thank you.
Get out of here. So while we are thinking of questions and or jabs for our fellow co-hosts, more people have said where they're from, which I'm really enjoying. So we have someone who is from London. That's, you win the closest to us award, I guess. Someone from Spain, someone from America, someone from Norway, someone else close to London, someone from Denmark, someone from South Africa, someone who likes Animal Crossing. Lexi's just joined the Discord in the description. Amazing. Very excited to have you on board. We'll be seeing you there. And someone else mentioned as an example of the found family story, the house in the Cerulean Sea is a really good example. I didn't bring that to read. I'm like in a little staycation, and I was going to bring it to read. Oh my god, it's right in front of you, but it's so heavy. I was like, I can't pack it because it's like the heaviest book. I can't. It's like it's not very cost efficient.
Can I ask whoever just mentioned that, has that got homophobia in it, or is it a like a homophobia free world? Because I was going to include that because I think it's like a queer normal place, but I'm not sure, so I'm curious. Please let us know.
I am as well before I start reading it. Also, Lexi really liked the rainbow background, Joel.
Oh, thank you.
I noticed, Lexi, that you didn't say, wow, Rowan, I really liked your 6 rainbow slides, but I'll forgive you eventually. You're okay. Okay, does anyone have any questions, draggings, points?
Are we able to see questions, or should I wait? I'll get the actual live up on my phone.
Oh, I can do feeding the questions in from the chat because it's on my screen as well. Joel, you're about to ask one of us.
I was like, Tazmyn, where were your rainbows?
Do you know what? Because it was a template, I tried to make them all like different colors, but there was like the brown, and I couldn't change the color of the brown. Oh, no. So I had like rainbow, but then it was like rainbow on one side and then brown. And it infuriated me so much. I'm disappointed.
Okay, you're forgiven. You're forgiven.
No, Joel, you're not forgiven. That's not the.
I'm sorry.
Joel, we're battling.
You're not forgiven until after this book battle.
Someone said a house on the Cerulean Sea doesn't have homophobia, but it does have racism.
I think it's like there's lots of like fantasy metaphor, it sounds like, as well, kind of for various things in the real world. I was trying all through those presentations to think of something to drag you guys for, but there's nothing. Oh, other than that one about rays that Joel couldn't remember how many rays there were or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, wow, come on, Joel, do the research. Like, listen, everyone in the chat, are you gonna trust someone who doesn't even remember how many of a thing are in a book? How can you trust anything Joel says, is my question to you, fine audience here tonight.
Right now.
Oh my god, the fact checking is happening.
11. I knew it. I was right. It was 11.
I thought, you said 7 or 12.
He said 7 or 12. Oh, there's what can we believe? We can believe nothing.
Well, it's 11.
I was gonna say something else about my one. I can't. Oh, just Joel, you did like a very good university thing of like actually kind of wrapping it up at the end, which I don't think I did. I didn't. I just went, here, have a screenshot, bye. My reasoning behind this one being so great is that for me personally, even like with the historical ones or with fantasy and sci-fi or contemporary ones, it's nice to visualize yourself in a world where hopefully in the future we will get to, which unfortunately we just don't live in the moment. And while we have I hope we all have very safe found families of our own, that unfortunately you don't know what's going to happen if you go out holding your partner's hand or you kiss someone of the same sex as you in public, and you just don't know, and that fear is horrible. And so I love reading about these times where, say, with things a bright girl can do, that's what it's called. Obviously at the time there would have been homophobia, but it's because it was the 1940s. But I love the idea that while these girls are like fighting for women's rights, and then also the war starts, I love the idea of them being able to just fall in love and have relatively normal teenage things without having to also think about whether or not they're actually allowed to be with that person, because their brother's gone to war. Okay, their mum's been force-fed in a thing because she's a suffragette. They don't need homophobia on top of that. None of us need that. Nope. So read that book. That's very good.
Can I just say that I truly believe that Joel has been paying bots to come into the chat and defend tonight. We've had such comments as, I trust Joel 100%. And something else about like, he had the Cerulean Sea on hand ready to go. We know we can trust him.
all of you will be getting your payments after the live.
Not believe it. I will say this is like so annoying because I'm about to support one of the rest of your guys' arguments. But if you are looking for another good found family thing, there is an episode of Anne with an E on Netflix, which is entirely about queer, like supremely queer found family of multiple generations. It's like, I was watching the episode like a few years ago, like, because I just watched the show. It's very cute, it's very sweet. And that whole episode happened. And I was just like, is this real? Am I like seeing this? This looks like it's been plucked directly from my own brain. But oh God, I'm trying to think of some good way of dragging you and or making my great, but I'm like, oh, I just like all of them. It's a difficult debate because fundamentally these are all very good tropes.
Like, well, I can't think of anything bad against any of your things.
I think just the Comic Sans is like the most.
Yeah, you know what? Sure, but here's the thing: is there truly, if we're looking at the concept of queerness, is there truly a more queer font than Comic Sans?
Do not drag us to that level, I beg you.
Oh my God.
I feel like there's like a chaotic, I think Comic Sans is like chaotic evil in the queer kind of thing. There needs to be like a chart made.
Which is Rowan in a nutshell. So that makes
I am notoriously evil and chaotic. That is entirely true. Look at this chaotic pattern I've got on. It's all coming together.
What's the opposite end of the spectrum to evil? So there's chaos, evil,
neutral.
Neutral. The
opposite. So like if you're neutral and neutral, you're true neutral in the middle.
Oh, well, that's boring. I don't want to be that.
Bland.
There's like lawful good, chaotic evil. I think I'm chaotic neutral.
just chaos.
Am I chaotic evil? I might be. Chaotic good? Chaotic good? Can I be
chaotic good is a good
I
thing.
don't know whether you kind of, there's like a very, very much like your background is very chaotic because it looks like all of these cartoon characters are just hiding badly behind your sofa.
And we've got, I bought oh my God, when I got this, all I need is tea and books. Everything on the internet is always books and then tea or coffee and books. And because I'm tea, books and Tazmyn, the amount of time it took me to find this stupid pillow. So that needs to just go there. Thank you.
We've had someone ask, can you quickly name each of the tropes you guys chose again? So number one, so we're going to be doing voting in a second in the chat where you will be putting in the number of the person that you want to vote for. So Rowan is number one, and I did Reinventing Stereotypes. And do you know what we're going to do? I guess like we're going to have, I don't know, 60 seconds to try and like sell our thing. Let me get a 60-second timer up on this thing. Okay, 1 minute. I'm going to put my phone on to not silent so that it will interrupt. Okay, so I was number one, Reinventing Stereotypes. Reinventing stereotypes. There are so many stereotypes and you can lean into them, you can lean out of them, you can take the stereotypes back from the way that straight people have been using them and abusing them over the years to actually show the reality of our community. I also think that maybe there are elements of the books that these two have tried to be selling you that you can absolutely put under my particular trope. It's all encompassing. It's like, it's everywhere. I gave you some amazing books. I mean, like, I don't want to bring this up, but all my books were Penguin books, and I just feel like that's you guys, hide from shame. I truly am committed to this particular YouTube channel, and also it's very good. Comic Sans is very underrated, and deserves its own sense of justice. 1 whole minute. There we go. Okay, right. Tazmyn, you're number two.
I was number two, and my trope was worlds with no homophobia. I said this about 2 minutes ago, but we're just going to go for it again. I love being able to escape to a world, be it on TV, be it in the cinema, be it on the page, be it a podcast, where you don't need to worry about being beaten up on the street for who you are. Why did I say that? You know, we all know those really fun stories we hear about on the news. It's nice to dream about a world in which we don't have that fear. And stop that! And we have incorporating all of them again. We have the found families. We can mush them all together. My brain stopped working. So just really, we are human beings outside of our sexuality and our gender, and it's lovely to focus on those other aspects of us while also loving and appreciating the queerness along the way.
Ding, ding, ding. Perfect timing.
Cool.
Incredible. Right, Joel, you ready?
Yes.
Doesn't matter, you're going, go.
Hello, I'm number 3, and I did the found family trope. Found families are amazing because they incorporate so many different elements that incorporate people of all sexualities, all genders, and anyone and everyone can be part of a found family, because no matter what your biological family thinks, you get to choose who's part of your found family. Books such as Six of Crows, Every Heart a Doorway, Heartstopper, they all incorporate found families in their own different ways, and it's so original and unique, and you can literally reinvent the wheel so many times with a found family, like literally reinvent the wheel. And it's so warm and so comforting because you can literally see the warmth and love and support that found families give to one another. Also, as a final closing point, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Oh, I've still got 20 seconds. Wow, we can go back. So many books. Found families are amazing. They apply so many different queer tropes. From Rowan's presentation, we can see like Worlds with No Homophobia from Tazmyn's presentation. Like found families can be found in all of them, and that is why it's just such the best trope. And also, Animal Crossing New Horizons deserves rights as the first original found family video game. Well, not the fifth, but the best.
Beautifully done.
Thank you.
Okay, so in the chat, I know that there might be a bit of a lag, so I'm going to give people time. Put your vote 1, 2, or 3 in the chat, and afterwards we will crown the champion of this first book battle, of hopefully more to come. I say crown, there is no prize, there is nothing here that we can give each other, but put your official vote in the chat. I am going to absolutely rig it and put number 1 in the chat from the platform. Hang on. You know, just to start it off, feel free to put it on their own account.
We've all just voted for it. Not you voting yourself.
What, we're just waiting for the votes to come in. Tazmyn voting twice. This is
so many times for yourself. Wow.
I just believe in myself very strongly.
Like that is the best LGBTQ plus trope right there. Belief in oneself.
While we're waiting for the votes to be tallied, Tazmyn, would you like to introduce everyone to your friend who is currently on your shoulder that you introduced us to before the call started?
This is Stan. Stan is my friend when I'm happy, and Lee is my friend when I'm sad. Named after both Stan Lee, the Marvel. He is a real life Marvel superhero, and also Stanley Tucci, because I have a cat called Tucci. I don't know where she's gone right now. But my flatmate, if she comes in always after I've woken up, and then I show her how I'm feeling that day. And then if I show her that I'm feeling a bit more like Lee that day, then she comes and gives me a cuddle, and it's really nice, really cute. It's a fun way to make things feel playful as well. So if I'm feeling grumpy and I see Lee, I'm like, things aren't that bad because he's adorable.
The little sad face is so cute.
Literally.
Can I just say I'm really enjoying everyone. They might disagree on who won, but they are united with the idea that the worst LGBT trope is 60-second timer.
Yes.
The true fear. Okay, because I can't be bothered to try and tally them up. If everyone counts their own number.
Cool. I will only count mine once. Okay. Cool. I think Joel won.
I keep losing track of counting.
You know, as soon as he said Six of Crows, I was like, oh, I can't argue with that. Oh, these guys are really milking how long it's taking them to count their numbers. This is.
I went back a few. I got 7. I had to get. I
think I had like 1 or 2 repeats, so I had to like check if they've voted before.
I had 5.
7.
Oh, I had 12.
Wow.
The winner for today is
not voting for you.
The found family trope. Incredible work. So thanks guys, this was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks everyone for watching as well. This was like, I don't know, we just kind of thought it would be fun. We did a little experiment because normally we're doing like separate videos on our own and we just sort of tell each other the ideas and then we like disappear off to make them. So it's been really fun to like actually be on a call. Me and Tazmyn met in person for the first time the other day, and I didn't realize it was the first time we'd met in person. The entire time I just didn't even clock, and Tazmyn mentioned it and I was like, wait,
Real life people, look at that.
What? That was actually really funny. All of the selfies were extremely blurry because it was raining so hard yesterday that the lens I think was just covered in water. But yeah, so we'll probably be doing one of these again. I don't know what kind of thing we're going to be doing in these battles. Like if anyone has any suggestions, please put them in the comments of this video because we would love to do something like this again. And other than that, I mean, so videos coming up, you guys are doing some more videos with us. Tazmyn, look forward to Tazmyn doing a like how to get into manga, sort of manga 101, like what to start with if you're interested in that kind of particular art form, which is really exciting. And then Joel is going to be doing, I know it's so soon. And then I think literally the week afterwards, Joel is doing one for Lit in Color, which is this, I like automatically went to do the peace signs as well. With Lit in Color, which if you haven't heard of, you should definitely Google. It's this big like study report that's been done around the lack of diversity of authors of color in the English curriculum in the UK. And there's a big report that's coming out, and Joel has had special secret early access to it to have a look over it. And basically he's going to be doing a video about like, why is the curriculum so white? What's going on? How might that be affecting young people? So I'm very excited for both of those coming up. All happening. I'm really glad everyone seems to have had a lot of fun in the chat. Mary just joined, but it was really fun. Everyone is joining us from like all over the world, and we truly are tonight a found family.
Flying.
Sweet. So we will see you guys at some point next. If you aren't already subscribed to the platform, obviously do that so you can see more of us and more weird events like this. But we will see you all again.